In the quiet, overburdened heart of West Africa, a young leader carried the weight of a nation's hope and its crushing challenges. Captain Ibrahim Traoré. The air in Ouagadougou thick with anticipation, with fear, with a desperate yearning for change that felt almost palpable. He bore the hopes of millions on shoulders barely broad enough for such an immense, impossible load. But on one particular night, amidst the relentless pressure and the agonizing sleeplessness, the unimaginable happened. In a dream more vivid, more tangible, more piercingly real than any waking moment, the spirit of Nelson Mandela appeared. Not as a distant historical figure, not as an abstract ideal, but present. And the message delivered in that sacred, liminal space, it wasn't merely advice for one man. It was a profound, vital truth for a continent grappling with its past, wrestling with its present, and fighting for its future. A message so unexpected, so deeply resonant, so utterly transformative, it will leave you speechless. This is a story whispered on the winds of change across the Sahel, a story of ancient wisdom arriving precisely when it was needed most, promising a clarity that defied the surrounding chaos. The air in the small, Spartan office is thick, heavy with the unspoken fears of millions he leads. The latest reports lie scattered across the desk, each one a fresh wound, a new wave of attacks in the north, crippling economic indicators, the relentless, suffocating pressure from forces seen and unseen that seek to dictate the path of his nation. The sheer weight of it all presses down until breathing itself feels like a luxury he can barely afford in these long, dark hours. Sleep offers no true escape, only fractured images of futures hanging by a thread, of paths fraught with impossible choices, each one a potential misstep with catastrophic consequences. Every single decision, a gamble with the very fate of a nation. Every sunrise, merely a renewed battle against overwhelming, multifaceted odds. The burden of this leadership, it's not abstract, it's a physical, palpable thing in the dead of night, a cold, suffocating cloak wrapped around his very soul, threatening to extinguish the flame of hope he carries for his people. This is the raw, brutal cost of trying to stand tall, of daring to reclaim a sovereign future, of challenging the established order, when powerful forces across the globe seem absolutely intent on keeping you on your knees, dependent and pliant. The isolation in this fight, it is profound. But what if, when the external pressure is most intense, when the path seems darkest and most isolating, the greatest wisdom arrives not from the chaotic world outside, or even from within the expected corridors of power, but from within the deepest silence of the human spirit itself? Stick around because this story reveals a truth about resilience, about leadership, about the very nature of dignity and the struggle for true freedom that you might never, ever have considered. You absolutely need to hear this to grasp the hidden forces shaping not just Burkina Faso, but the aspirations of millions worldwide who yearn for genuine sovereignty. Burkina Faso, the land of upright people. A nation situated in the volatile heart of the Sahel, facing a perfect storm of challenges, a pervasive security crisis with armed groups contesting territory, deep-rooted poverty exacerbated by economic structures that perpetuate dependency, and complex historical and ongoing geopolitical pressures that seek to limit its options and control its resources. Captain Ibrahim Traoré did not come to power through a conventional path. He emerged from the military, reflecting a generation's frustration and a fierce, articulate desire to reclaim the nation's sovereignty and dignity in the face of what he and many perceived as persistent neo-colonial interference and a failed status quo. He was young, thrust into a position of immense responsibility, tasked with navigating an inferno and forging a future for a nation under siege. He inherited a country where insecurity displaced millions and crippled the economy. He faced relentless pressure from traditional allies uncomfortable with his assertive stance, from global institutions with conditional aid, and from international actors with their own strategic interests. Every day was a test of endurance and will, managing security crises, balancing the desperate need for funds with the imperative not to compromise independence, navigating complex internal politics amidst hope, fear, and scarcity. The isolation of his position was immense. The burden of the nation's fate on his shoulders felt crushing. The nights were the hardest. Sleep was often a struggle, his mind a battlefield of worries and calculations. But on this particular night, something shifted. The usual mental storm didn't rage. Instead, it began to fade into a deepening, luminous quiet. A sense of peace, unexpected and profound, settled over him. He felt less like falling asleep and more like stepping across a threshold into another state of being, a place where the noise of the world could not follow. The transition was seamless. He was suddenly present in a place that felt both strange and deeply familiar to his soul. It was simple, earthy, like a tranquil courtyard, bathed in a warm, soft light that seemed to emanate from nowhere, creating a gentle glow. The air was clean, carrying the faint, earthy scent of damp soil, a smell of life and cleansing. There were no crowds, no demands, only a profound stillness and timelessness. In the distance stood a great, ancient tree, its presence symbolizing strength and endurance. And then he sensed it, a presence. Gentle, yet undeniably powerful, carrying the weight of history, struggle, resilience, and profound dignity. He turned, drawn by the presence. And there he was. Nelson Mandela. Not the frail figure of his later years, but vital, standing tall, radiating quiet strength, immense wisdom, and an unshakable dignity. His eyes, which had seen decades of injustice, met Traoré's gaze with no judgment, only deep understanding and empathy. Mandela offered a small, knowing smile, recognizing the path Traoré walked. He didn't speak immediately. The initial connection was wordless, a transfer of feeling, a sense of being truly seen and understood, a shared acknowledgement of the heavy burdens of principled leadership. In this dream space, titles and political chaos melted away. Mandela extended a hand, not to demand, but as a simple, welcoming gesture of solidarity across time and experience. Traoré found himself stepping forward, reaching out and taking the hand of Madiba. The touch was warm, solid, undeniably real. That Mandela's voice, when he finally spoke, was deep, resonant, yet soft and intimate, carrying the echo of countless struggles and profound truths. "Ah, young leader," he said, his smile broadening slightly, tinged with empathy. "You carry a heavy stone. I know this stone well." Traoré, his voice feeling small in the presence, responded, "Mr. President, the stone, it feels crushing." Mandela nodded slowly, his gaze steady and compassionate. "It is meant to. The stone of leadership, truly held, is never light. It is made of your people's hopes and fears, the wounds of the past, the uncertainty of the future, the sacrifices made. Many seek the crown, but few understand the burden, the isolation, the demand for wisdom and strength you may fear you lack. True leadership is not wearing the crown. It is bearing the weight of the stone, day after day, without letting it break your spirit or corrupt your purpose." He gestured around them. "You lead in turbulence, where your nation's foundations are tested by forces within and beyond. External pressures exploit vulnerabilities. This is the centuries-old struggle for our continent, to stand free, chart our own course, define our value, free from dictates. The fire you walk through can consume or refine. The choice is how you bear the stone within the fire." Mandela stepped closer, the soft light illuminating the lines of wisdom on his face. "You speak of sovereignty, of independence. Noble, essential goals. But be wary of simple definitions. Political independence is a crucial first step, but only that. True independence is a state of being, economic independence. Controlling resources, feeding your people, building infrastructure, trading fairly, saying no to aid with strings or loans that become chains. It is intellectual and cultural independence, valuing your history, languages, ways of knowing, believing in your people's capacity to solve their own problems, shedding internalized narratives of inferiority." He placed a hand on Traoré's shoulder. "The chains of the past are subtle, debt, trade clauses, even educational norms. To be truly independent is to be masters of your house, politically, economically, culturally, intellectually, spiritually. It requires vigilance, profound honesty, deep pride, unwavering commitment to your people's dignity and future. It is a longer, harder fight than raising a flag. Are you prepared for that deeper struggle? Mandela walked slowly towards the ancient tree, inviting Traoré to walk with him. Look at this tree. It stands tall because its roots are deep and interconnected, drawing strength from the same earth. Healthy, bound roots withstand storms. Severed roots cause the trunk to fall. He turned back to Traoré, expression serious. The same is true of a nation. Division is the oldest, most effective weapon against those who seek freedom. It was used against my people, tribal, racial, even familial divisions. It is used now against nations like yours, sowing discord to manipulate and control. Those who wish to control you do not want unity. A truly united people is powerful, capable of extraordinary things, capable of resisting external pressure. A divided people is easily conquered, exploited. Be fiercely vigilant against seeds of division, from external hands or internal resentments, corruption, inequality. Leadership requires building bridges, not walls, among your people. Acknowledging past hurts, seeking reconciliation, prioritizing the common good above narrow interests. Corruption is a poison. It creates division by telling people leaders serve themselves, eroding trust. Trust is the glue holding roots together. The most dangerous enemy is internal fracturing. Heal internal wounds. Foster shared purpose that transcends differences. Celebrate diversity, find strength in common identity as Burkinabe. Unity must be built, nurtured, protected. It is the fundamental foundation for true independence and peace. They stood under the tree's shade. Mandela looked out at the horizon, seeing the long panorama of struggle. The struggle for freedom, dignity, self-determination is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be setbacks, despair, fleeting victories, crushing defeats. Do not measure success by immediate outcome, but by integrity of effort, strength of resolve, clarity of principles. Pressure to compromise, to take the easy path, sacrifice long-term for short-term gain, will be immense. Resist it. Your greatest strength is not army size or wealth, but moral authority earned through integrity, justice, truth. People follow you through hardship if they believe in your integrity and purpose. Lose that trust, lose everything. Perseverance is not passive enduring, it is active cultivation, learning from mistakes, adapting, but never abandoning core principles. Patience is active cultivation, tending to growth, understanding real progress takes time, generations. Hope is not naive belief, but conviction that the struggle is worthwhile. History bends towards justice, and your efforts are part of that bend. Hold on to hope. It is the essential fuel when all else feels lost. Mandela stepped fully under the deepest shade. The light intensified around him, focusing the moment. He looked at Traoré, a final, crucial truth to impart. You lead your people. You face external exploitation, internal division, crushing expectation, bitter sacrifice. But remember this, Captain, let it be your compass. True power is not dominion, but mastery over oneself, fears, doubts, temptations. True freedom is not granted, it is claimed, relentlessly, through dignity in the face of humiliation, unity in the face of deliberate division, and unwavering principle in the face of immense pressure to compromise everything you stand for. His voice softened to a profound whisper, carrying the weight of Robben Island, of a nation pulled from the brink. Your greatest victory will not be won on the battlefield, but in the hearts and minds of your people. Inspire them to fight what is wrong, yes, but also to build what is right. To resist, but also to create. Show them, through your unwavering commitment, that the dignity of a nation begins, fundamentally, with the dignity of each individual soul. That is the message. Bear that truth, internalize it, live it, and the stone you carry, while still heavy, will become the foundation upon which you build a truly sovereign, resilient, free future for your people. It is the heaviest foundation, yes, but also the strongest. As he finished, the dreamscape softened, the light receded gently, leaving an indelible mark. Mandela's form grew less distinct, becoming one with the light, his presence lingering. The profound peace remained, intertwined with the sharp clarity of the message. And then, with a soft intake of breath, he was awake. The stark reality of his room snapped into focus. The sounds of the city filtered in. He was back. The weight of the stone immediately threatened to descend. But something fundamental had changed. The dream was vivid, Mandela's words echoing not in his ears, but in his very being. He sat up, heart pounding, not with fear, but awe and exhilarating clarity. The weight was there, but felt different, not just a burden, but a raw material, a challenge framed within profound understanding. Mandela's quiet dignity lingered. He didn't immediately act. He sat, breathing, letting the enormity wash over him. It was a visitation, a transfer of wisdom across time. It didn't matter. The message mattered. He replayed the words, weight as foundation, true independence, unity, principle, dignity. It wasn't a manual, but a moral compass. It validated the difficulty, giving a higher perspective. The isolation felt less absolute. He was connected to a lineage of struggle. A quiet hum of sharpened purpose replaced anxiety. The challenges were real, but his fundamental approach was altered. He wasn't just reacting, he had a navigational chart. The dream marked a profound internal shift. His resolve, once fueled by idealism and anger, was now tempered by history's wisdom, a legacy's strength. Doubts remained, but met with a new conviction. Failure wasn't lack of success, but lack of principled effort. Fear of failure was countered by understanding. He viewed problems as tests of commitment to the dream's principles. External pressure felt less intimidating. Mandela's words on resisting manipulation resonated, giving him quiet strength to prioritize national interest. The unity message became urgent. He saw divisions within government, military, society, with new clarity, how easily resentments festered, corruption corroded trust, purpose fragmented. The dream highlighted the existential threat of internal division. His approach to governance began to integrate this, striving for transparency, speaking directly about shared sacrifices, building bridges even when difficult. It was a challenging application, facing ingrained systems. The impact extended to his actions. Meetings shifted tone. He asked questions rooted in the dream. Does this foster independence? Unity? Principle? His public addresses incorporated themes of shared identity, resilience, collective responsibility, echoing Mandela's call for the people to be the nation's bedrock. These were subtle but profound shifts in motivation. Applying the wisdom meant hard choices, clashing with immediate pressures and conventional wisdom. Faced with a lucrative resource deal from powerful foreign-backed corporations, instead of yielding to pressure, he articulated a principled stance based on true economic independence, demanding terms that fundamentally shifted the power dynamic: greater national control, local processing, fairer profit sharing, national legal jurisdiction. He might even reject the deal if it perpetuated dependency, citing Mandela's warning about unseen chains. The consequence: international outcry, threats, negative campaigns, immediate economic discomfort. But internally, a surge of pride, a leader standing tall on principle, embodying dignity. This high-stakes decision, driven by the dream, showed cause and effect, moral complexity, earned outcome, hardship for dignity. Addressing corruption, seen as a corrosive force of division, he initiated deeper, systemic reforms across sectors, facing resistance from entrenched interests. Publicly framing corruption as a betrayal of national unity and spirit, he challenged the system at its roots. Consequence: internal friction, powerful enemies, but also hope among citizens weary of graft, a sense that their leader fought for the nation's soul. The challenges persisted. Security was critical, economy strained, pressures relentless. The stone was still heavy, but his navigation was guided by the dream's compass, acting with principle, a longer-term vision, even when difficult. He wasn't just reacting, he was building with the stone, using its weight not to be crushed, but to stand taller. The dream provided resilience, not easy answers. It was a wellspring of guidance, a reminder of values, an illustration of consequences. The story of Captain Traoré's dream is an allegory for nations striving for self-determination in a world shaped by power imbalances. Mandela's message transcends Burkina Faso, speaking to universal truths about leadership, sovereignty, dignity. True independence, beyond political flags to economic, mental liberation, is relevant in global finance, information wars, neo-colonial dynamics. Unity against division is a timeless warning. Perseverance with principle, an antidote to demands for instant results. This dream highlights that a nation's greatest resources are its people's spirit, leaders' integrity, collective commitment to a dignified future. Mandela, symbol of principled struggle, delivered a message underscoring moral clarity against force. It suggests even in darkness, wisdom, guidance, strength emerge unexpectedly from human experience, legacies of those who walked the fire. Captain Traoré's journey, Burkina Faso's journey, is unfinished. The dream didn't erase challenges but armed him with perspective, purpose, conviction. The stone is heavy, but he bears it differently, building. The dream is a symbol of enduring struggle's relevance, that freedom fighters' spirit guides those building nations. True strength is not just might, but commitment to justice, unity, integrity, dignity. It is a story whispering hope, hard-earned hope forged in fire, tempered by wisdom. Hope that even when challenges seem insurmountable, pressures relentless, divisions deep, the path is illuminated by principles of those who came before. A call to remember freedom is a living journey, demanding perseverance, courage, principle, carrying the stone for collective well-being and future generations. The message unfolds in actions, decisions, the spirit of leadership, the hope it ignites. This narrative carries lessons beyond borders. It asks what true independence means, what makes a worthy leader, where we find strength when burdens are unbearable. If this story of struggle, unexpected wisdom, guidance has stirred you, made you think about nations' dignity, hidden strength, you understand the power of these narratives, moments where the veil thins. There are countless such stories, echoes of wisdom shaping the present unseen. Don't miss uncovering these deeper truths, these stories, these unexpected twists revealing human resilience, forces shaping our world. If you feel that pull, that desire to look beyond surface, understand profound currents, there's one thing left. Click that subscribe button now. Join a community valuing truth, depth, understanding, knowing powerful messages arrive unexpectedly. This is one story in a vast tapestry. Don't miss the next revelation, the next wisdom, the next perspective that could change everything. Don't regret not being first to know. Your journey into the truly extraordinary continues. Ensure you are here. The story is far from over.